when we are dealing with higher derivatives in differential calculus, it is basically the derivative of a given function. Now, say that we have y as a function of x, and we are required to determine the first derivative of this one. Alright, so the first derivative of y is denoted by dy over dx, or it can be denoted by y prime or f prime of x. Now, solving for the second derivative of y, so solving for the second derivative of y, we're going to uh, obtain the derivative of the first derivative, and that is now the second derivative of y. Meaning, the derivative with respect to x of the first derivative of y is actually the second derivative of y. And that is denoted by y double prime or f double prime of x. Also, if we are going to derive, or if we're going to solve for the third derivative of y, then we're going to obtain the derivative of the second derivative. So the derivative of the second derivative with respect to x, so the derivative of the second derivative with respect to x, that is denoted by d cube y over dx cube, or that is now equal to y triple prime or f triple prime of x, and so on. So if we are required to determine for the fourth derivative, we're going to solve for the derivative of the third derivative, and that is denoted by d raised to the fourth power y over dx raised to the fourth power, or what we call the fourth derivative. Right? So this is now higher derivatives. Again, solving for higher derivatives, given y as a function of x, the first derivative is dy over dx or y prime. The second derivative is the derivative of the first derivative, and that is denoted by d squared y over dx squared, or y double prime or f double prime x. And the third derivative is the derivative of the second derivative, so that is d cube y over dx cube, or that is y triple prime or f triple prime of x, and so on. So to illustrate higher derivatives, let us have this example, right? So for example number 1, given y equals x plus 2 raised to the third power multiplied by x minus 3 raised to the fourth power, solve for the third derivative. Right? So now we can make use of the different formulas that we discussed in the derivative of algebraic functions and then apply it in here. Alright? So our goal here is to determine the third derivative of y. Alright? So the first thing that we need to do is to get the first derivative, and then if solving for second derivative, we're going to derive this first derivative, and then for the third derivative, we are going to derive the second derivative. Alright? Now, the technique here, when you are going to solve for the third derivative, if you have factors, or if you are given a function which is expressed in factors, do not expand it. Alright, because we're going to use our knowledge in factoring in order for us to solve this easily. Okay, so solving for y prime, or the first derivative, since we have a product here, alright, so this is u multiplied by v, and the derivative with respect to x of u times v is equal to u dv over dx plus v du over dx. So if we're going to use this formula, solving for y prime is now equal to x plus 2 raised to 3 multiplied by the derivative with respect to x of x minus 3 raised to the fourth power, plus x minus 3 raised to the fourth power multiplied by the derivative with respect to x of x plus 2 raised to the third power. Alright? So in here, we're going to have a derivative of a power. And the derivative of a power, if we're going to recall again, the derivative of u raised to n with respect to x, that is equal to n u raised to n minus 1 du over dx, right? So given that u is a function of x. And if we're going to apply this formula to obtain the derivative of this function, this is now equal to x plus 2 raised to 3 multiplied by, right, so our n here is 4, so we're going to bring it down, and then x minus 3, 4 minus 1 is equal to 1, 4 minus 1 is equal to 3, so that would be raised to 3, multiplied by the derivative of x minus 3, which is equal to 1, plus x minus 3 raised to the fourth power multiplied by the derivative of x plus 2 raised to 3. If we're going to apply this formula, that is now 3. We're going to bring down n, and that would now be x plus 2 raised to n minus 1. So that's 3 minus 1. That's equal to 2. So that would be raised to 2. Multiplied by the derivative of u. And our u here is x plus 2. The derivative of x plus 2 is 1 plus 0. So that is basically equal to 1. Right? So, if we're going to simplify this one, again, we refrain from expanding it, all right? Because expanding this one could be quite tedious, and the probability of error when expanding this is quite high, especially if you are not careful in expanding expression. So what we are going to do here is to find a common factor, right? So since we only have two terms, right? So this is one term and this is the second term here. We're going to find a common factor on these two terms. And the common factor, if you can see, x plus 2 raised to 3, and we also have x plus 2 in here, but it is only raised to 2. So we have a common factor, which is x plus 2 raised to 2. Also, we have x minus 3 in here raised to 3, and we have x minus 3 in here raised to the fourth power. So there is a common factor in these two terms, which is x minus 3 raised to 3. Right? Since we already factored out, alright, so we already bring out the common factor, the remainder, if we brought out x plus 2 raised to 2 in this expression, our remainder there would be x plus 2 raised to 1. And since x minus 3 is also brought out, right, so this would now be equal to 4. Plus, x minus 3 raised to the fourth power, we brought out x minus 3 raised to 3, so the remainder in the second term would be x minus 3. X plus 2 was brought out, alright, so the remainder in here would now be equal to 3. So this is now equal to x plus 2 raised to 2, x minus 3 raised to 3, multiplied, right, so multiplied by, if we're going to simplify this expression, this is now equal to 4 times x plus 3 times x, so that is 7 times x, 4 times 2, so that is 8, and then we have 3 times negative 3, so that is 9, so 8 minus 9, that is equal to minus 1. Alright, so this is now the first derivative of the function. However, we're not going to stop there, right? So we're not going to stop here because our aim is to solve for the third derivative. And solving for the second derivative, we are going to derive, right? So we're going to solve for the derivative of the first derivative, right? So in here, we already have three factors, right? So for y double prime, we're going to get the derivative with respect to x of y prime, right? But before we can solve this one, let us recall first the formula if we have three factors, right? So if we have three factors, say for example, y is equal to u, v, w, wherein u, v, and w are functions of x, y prime would now be equal to u times v multiplied by the derivative of w with respect to x. Right, let us change the color of this one so that you will not be confused. Plus v times w multiplied by du over dx plus u times w multiplied by dv over dx. Right, so this is the formula that we are going to use if we have a product of 3 factors. Alright, so this is not actually very hard to memorize because basically we're just going to pair it, and then the remainder would be the derivative. And then we're going to get the derivative of the remainder. So the pair of u times b, the remainder is w, so that's dw over dx. vw, the remainder is u, so that's d over dx. And then uw, the remainder is v, so that's dv over dx. Alright? So if we're going to apply this formula to solve for y prime, then y double prime would now be equal to, right? So let me just rewrite in here y prime so that we will not go over it by and by. So that is now x plus 2 raised to 2, x minus 3 raised to 3, 7x minus 1. Right? So this is u, this is v, and this is w. Again, so if we're going to apply now our formula, y double prime is now equal to u times v, so that is x plus 2 raised to 2, x minus 3 raised to 3, multiplied by the derivative with respect to x of 7x minus 1. Right? So that's the first term. Plus v times w, so that is x minus 3 raised to 3, 7x minus 1, times the derivative of u, which is now equal to x plus 2 raised to 2. And lastly, plus u times w, so that is x plus 2 quantity squared multiplied by w, which is 7x minus 1, multiplied by the derivative with respect to x of b, which is x minus 3 raised to 3. Alright? Now, we are good to derive each expressions. Right? So y double prime is now equal to x plus 2. Let me just rewrite that one. X minus 3 raised to 3. And the derivative of this one is now 7. Because the derivative of 7x is 7, the derivative of negative 1 is 0. Right? So for this term, that is now plus x minus 3 raised to 3 multiplied by 7x minus 1, and the derivative of x plus 2 raised to 2 would now be equal to 2x plus 2 multiplied by the derivative of x plus 2, which is equal to 1. Right? Because this is in the form of u raised to n. And again, the derivative of u raised to n is n times u raised to n minus 1 times the derivative of u with respect to x. And lastly, we have plus x plus 2 quantity raised to the second power multiplied by 7x minus 1 multiplied by the derivative of x minus 3 raised to 3. And that is now equal to 3 times x minus 3 raised to 2 multiplied by 1. The derivative of x minus 3 raised to 3, we bring down 3, so that is now 3, and then x minus 3 u raised to n minus 1, so 3 minus 1 is 2, multiplied by the derivative of x minus 3, which is equal to 1. Alright? Now we are done with the derivative. What we are going to do here is we're just going to simplify it. So this is now equal to, if we can find for a common factor in all of the terms, then we factor it out first. Alright? So if we're going to inspect the result here, x plus 2, we have x plus 2 here, we also have x plus 2 here, and then we also have x plus 2 here. And the common factor is x plus 2 raised to 1. Right? We also have x minus 3 here, we have x minus 3 here, and then we have x minus 3 in here. And the common factor is x minus 3 raised to the second power. Okay? Now, if we're going to bring out x plus 2 and x minus 3 raised to 2 in this whole expression, the remainder would now be x plus 2, right? So because we brought out x plus 2 raised to 1 here, and then we have x minus 3 raised to 1 as well, because we brought out x minus 3 raised to 2, multiplied by 7. And for the second term, the remainder would now be, we brought out x minus 3 raised to 2, so we have x minus 3 here. We have 7x minus 1, and x plus 2 was brought out, therefore that would now be equal to 2 only. And for the last term, we have x plus 2 in here, so the remainder would be x plus 2, and we have 7x minus 1, so that's 7x minus 1, and then x minus 3 raised to 2 was brought out. Thus, the remainder in here would now be equal to 3, right? So let us just simplify this one, expand this, so that we have x plus 2, x minus 3 raised to 2, multiplied by x plus 2 raised to 3, x plus 2 multiplied by x minus 3, so that is now equal to x squared minus x minus 6 multiplied by 7. Plus, we have 7x, alright, so that's 7x squared multiplied by negative 21x minus x, so that is negative 22x. Is that right? So negative 3 times 7x, so that's negative 21x. X times negative 1, negative x, so that's negative 22x. Negative 3 times negative 1 is now equal to positive 3 multiplied by 2. Right? So let me just bring this down. Right? So for the last term here, we have plus x times 7x squared, so that is 7x squared. 2 times 7x, so that's positive 14x, minus x, so that is positive 13x. And then 2 times negative 1 will give us negative 2, multiplied by 3. Right? So if we're going to distribute the constants here with these expressions, we have 7x squared minus 7x minus 42, and then we also have 14x squared minus 44x, right? So that is 44x plus 6. And in here, we have 7 times 3, so that is 21x squared. And then 13 times 3, so that is plus 39x. And then we have negative 2 times 3, so that is negative 6. Right? So, we're just going to collect similar terms in here, and then that would now be the second derivative of the function y. So this is now equal to x plus 2 multiplied by x minus 3 quantity squared multiplied by, alright, so that is now 7x squared, 14x squared, and then 21x squared. So basically that is equal to 42x squared. That right? So 7x plus 14, so 21x squared plus 21 will give us 42x squared. For the coefficient of x, we have negative 7x minus 44, so that is negative 51x plus 39, so that will give us minus 12x. And lastly, we have negative 42 plus 6, so that will give us negative 36 minus 6, so that will go back to negative 40. Alright? In the simplification of this one, we can still bring out a common factor here, and the common factor in that expression is equal to 6. Alright, so if we're going to bring out 6 here, we have x plus 2, x minus 3 raised to 2. The remainder would be equal to 7x squared minus 2x minus 7. Therefore, y double prime is now equal to this one. Right? And solving for the third derivative, or y triple prime, we're going to get the derivative of y double prime. Right? So since we also have 3 factors here, then we're going to use this formula. Okay, so 6 is a constant, so we can set it aside first. So 6 multiplied by the derivative of the 3 factors. So that would now be x, or 3 products. X plus 2, x minus 3 raised to 2, multiplied by the derivative with respect to x of 7x squared minus 2x minus 7. Plus, we have x minus 3 raised to 2 multiplied by 7x squared minus 2x minus 7 multiplied by the derivative with respect to x of x plus 2 plus x minus 3. Alright, so that is x plus 2 multiplied by 7x squared minus 2x minus 7 multiplied by the derivative with respect to x of x minus 3 raised to 2. Okay, so this is now equal to 6 multiplied by x plus 2 times x minus 3 raised to 2. The derivative of 7x squared minus 2x minus 7 is equal to 14x minus 2. Right? Because the derivative of 7x squared is 14x and the derivative of negative 2x is negative 2. Plus, we have x minus 3 raised to 2 multiplied by 7x squared minus 2x minus 7 multiplied by the derivative of x plus 2, which is equal to 1. Plus, we have x plus 2 multiplied by 7x squared minus 2x minus 7 multiplied by the derivative of x minus 3 raised to 2, so that is 2 times x minus 3 multiplied by 1. Alright, because this is u raised to n. So we are done with the differentiation. Now, we're just going to simplify the resulting expression. Okay? So if we're going to find out a common factor in this resulting expression, we have x plus 2 here. We do not have x plus 2 here. We also have we also do not have x plus we have x plus 2 in here, so we cannot bring out x plus 2. All right. So how about x minus 3? X minus 3, x minus 3, and also we have x minus 3 here, so we can bring out x minus 3. Okay, so this is now equal to 6 multiplied by x minus 3 raised to 1. And no more. Alright, so we have no more common factors in these three terms aside from x minus 3. Now that we brought out x minus 3, the remainder in this term would be x plus 2, x minus 3, and then 14x minus 2. Right? The remainder on this term would be x minus 3, 7x squared minus 2x minus 7. And the remainder in this term would be plus x plus 2 multiplied by 7x squared minus 2x minus 7. Right? Multiplied by 2. Okay. Now, we're just going to expand these three factors, right? So we're just going to expand these products, this product, and this product, and then we're going to collect similar terms. So solving for the expansion of this, that is now x plus 2 multiplied by x minus 3 multiplied by 14x minus 2. The expansion of this is x squared minus x minus 6. Alright, and if we're going to multiply this one with 14x minus 2, so that will give us 14x cubed, x squared times negative 2, so that is negative 2x squared, and then we have negative x times 14x, so that is negative 14x squared, and then we have negative x times negative 2, so that will give us positive 2x, and then 6 times 14 is equal to negative 84x, and negative 6 times negative 2 is positive 12. So collecting similar terms, this is now equal to 14x cubed, negative 2 minus 14, that is equal to negative 16x squared, 2x minus 84x, so that is negative 82x, and then plus 12. Right? So this is now the expansion. If we're going to write it here, we have 14x cubed minus 16x squared minus 82x plus 12. Okay? So for the expansion of this one, we have x times 7x squared, so that will give us 7x cubed negative 3 times 7x squared, so that will give us negative 21. X times negative 2x, negative 2x squared, so negative 21x squared minus 2x, that will give us negative 23x squared. X times negative 7, that will give us negative 7x, negative 3 times negative 2x, so that will give us positive 6x, so negative 7x plus 6x will give us negative x. And lastly, negative 3 times negative 7 will give us positive 21. And for this last term, we have x times 7x squared will give us 7x cubed times 2, so that would be 14x cubed. X times negative 2x, so that will give us negative 2x squared. Alright, so let me just write it here. And then 2 times 7x squared, that will give us positive 14x squared. So if we're going to add the 2, we have 12x squared. Multiplied by 2, so that will give us positive 24x squared. Right? So x times negative 7, that is negative 7x. 2 times negative 2x, negative 4x. And if we're going to add this, we have negative 11. Multiplied by 2, so that would now be negative 22x. And lastly, 2 times negative 7 is negative 14 times 2, so that will give us negative 20. Right? So we are done with the expansion. We're now going to simplify the expression. So this is now equal to 6 multiplied by x minus 3. Right? So if we're going to collect similar terms now, we have 14x cubed plus 7x cubed, so that will give us 21x cubed plus 14x cubed, so that will give us 35. So we have 35x cubed. Next, negative 16x squared. Alright, so let me just rewrite it here. Negative 16x squared, negative 23, so that will give us 9, 3, negative 39x squared. Plus 24, so plus 24, we have 5 and 1. So this would be minus 15x squared. For the x, we have negative 82x minus x, so this will give us negative 83x minus 22, right? So negative 83 minus 22, that is 5, alright, so that is negative 105x. And for the constant, we have 12 plus 21, that will give us 33 minus 28, so this will be equal to 5. Right? So that is positive 5. And since we can still factor out this one, so this will now be equal to 6 times x minus 3 times the common monomial factor here would be equal to 5. And if we're going to bring out 5 here, we have 7x cubed minus 3x squared minus, we have 21x plus 1. And 6 times 5 is equal to 30. So y triple prime is now equal to 30 multiplied by x minus 3. Right? So that's x minus 3 multiplied by 7x cubed minus 3x squared minus 21x plus 1. This is now our final answer.